All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. NorCal Sports Network. Frustrating night for the Golden State Warriors. Had that game. Should have won it. But they didn't. So we'll get right into it. Find my stinking music to kill. There we go.
I'm back.
Lou's back. He made it back in. The pitcher's better. Everything looks good. Hey, everybody. Let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin. Any of your legal needs, give them a call. There they are, 415-613-9483. I think the referees tonight should call Chapman Law Group because they're on trial for fixing this game, man. I'm telling you, those guys ought to be lined up, and that was a pathetic. I don't usually get into officiating because I don't like to make it look like I'm complaining, but and the Warriors, you know, when you blow a game like that, you can't blame the refs. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know, turnovers and all of that. But they didn't get any help tonight from the officials when they called that sixth foul on Moody. And yes, in technicality, it was a foul because he impeded the shot. But how many shots are impeded all night long for the Warriors going down, going up to the hoop and no calls and Curry getting slapped right across the forearm by Jokić for a steal. How about, who was that? Moody traveling down the baseline, down the
that was a bad call. You got to call something.
You got to call something. You can't just say he went out of bounds. Yeah. Why did he go out of bounds? Because he was
impeded.
He was impeded. My goodness. But the real, let me get some clown music here for the guy who kind of looks like a clown with that flopping red hair and that bandana. Odds. Why is Kerr playing this clown? Please get him off the court. My goodness. They were up by 9 and he threw that errant pass. And then the next play, he comes down, shoots a 3, bricks that. And then the next play comes down and gets a foul on the 4-point play. He basically gave up a possession, which could have been 2 points.
5-point turnaround.
Missed a 3-pointer, which is like 5 points, and then gives up a 4-point play, like a 9-point swing in less than a minute from one dude.
Yep.
I mean, the guy can't be out there in crunch time. You know, put him in there in the first, second quarter, maybe third quarter. He's not a fourth quarter guy. I'm sorry.
I agree. I've been saying that for probably almost the whole season, Dan, and it's very frustrating to watch him. I'll tell you the key to the Warriors tonight. I'll go positive first. I liked what they did, bringing Curry in for like 3 minutes, giving him a 2-minute rest, coming back 3 minutes, because normally, he sits out for 6. I like that. I like that The bench actually was positive for a while. Not the starters, but the bench outplayed Denver's bench. But here's the key to the whole game. With 4:03 left, Kerr made a layup to make it 113-105.
Yeah.
They only scored 2 points the rest of the game, and they scored nothing in the last 2:30. So if you're on the road and you're up 8, and the home team's going to make a run, I mean, it's Denver. That's going to happen, but you only scored 2 points in the last 4:03. It's pretty tough, And I know, the refs weren't that great, but this is now the fourth consecutive game where they've had a lead in the fourth between 6 and 8, and they've lost. What this tells you is they need another scorer. You know, if you look tonight on the plus minus, Wiggins was minus 20. That's pretty bad. And then Brandon was minus 13. You know, I mean, I thought Looney played great, but, you know, it's just getting to the point now where we know who we need in the lineup. I don't know what Kerr's doing. I know tonight we had to give Green a rest, which is fine, but I thought the starting lineup we had was sort of weak. When you really take Curry out, and if Wiggins not going to show up, you know, we are down, we are up. We got to close, and we got to have somebody else close beside Curry.
Yeah, I thought the big key of the game was definitely that Pods missed shot and then the foul after. I thought was a huge momentum.
Well, the play
swing.
before that too, Ryan. He threw the ball with
he threw the ball
over
completely
into
out.
the stands.
Yeah,
it was
those three consecutive plays were awful, and it completely turned the game. And it was kind of a bummer because Curry was able to stay out of the game until that point, and it maybe looked like, you know, maybe they were actually going on a run, and then Pods completely just killed the momentum.
Yeah, he killed it. He just
and it was unfortunate because I think before that he was actually having a decent game. That was my take. But he really folded under the pressure as soon as it started getting loud in there. You could tell he was getting in his head. And I think Curry should have came into the game a little sooner. And this is kind of the issue again with Steve Kerr trying to overplay Pods. And if you're not going to put in Curry, then just not Pods. Just right now, he's not
really
missing in his shot.
You could see.
I don't
Melton.
want him in the closing lineup. I just don't want Pods in the closing lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Melton was a real
sort of a glue.
He was because he was the guy that could handle the ball. Pods is your second ball handler. It was Melton. And now they've got to find another ball handler.
Also, Hield coming down to earth at the same time as Melton leaving, I think hasn't been talked about. Not leaving, but being injured hasn't been talked about enough because Hield has really come down to earth. And with both of them being out, you're basically Hield was averaging early in the season over 20. Now he's averaging like 9, 10, or I think it's literally 11 points. But it's like there was this graphic I saw Athletic Alchemy put up the other day. I forget where it came from. Maybe it was TNT or ESPN, one of the bigger things. And basically, since Hield scoring has dropped, we've also lost a lot of games. So I think it's not just Melton being out. I think it's kind of a correlation of Hield was our second, basically was our second scorer, while we were hot. And now we lost our arguably third best player in Melton. And then you
6 points.
Yeah, and you're losing Hield scoring. So you're losing a lot of points that we really can't make up, it looks like, because the younger guys – I think you did see with Kuminga tonight too. I'll say also, I thought he had a good game, but he also, I think, had a rough ending to the game because he had a dumb foul and then he had the missed dunk, which got blocked by Jamal Murray. And I think, the team in general, and Kuminga is usually pretty good at this, so I'm not going to fault Kuminga at this, but in general, the team needs to be a little bit better at pump fakes. You don't need to go up for the shot immediately when you get the ball. You can –
right.
Especially Trace Jackson Davis. Kuminga's really good at pump fakes, so I'm surprised he didn't, try to go for that against Jamal on that dunk. But I think the whole team has that issue. I mean, we saw that we would have won the game. I forget who it was against. It was a few games ago where Wiggins went for this rush layup when he probably should have just pump faked and gone fouled, but he scared at the line. So that's also another issue I think we're having why a lot of people are taking rush shots because no one wants to go to the free throw line.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one other thing I do want to say about Pods, he complains every single play call, every single foul against him. He looks, and you know what? Tonight he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's like, dude, stop taking the charge like last year and just play decent defense. He had his hand in the kitchen and the cookie jar way too much tonight. He almost had 2 4-point plays against him because he doesn't know what he's doing defending. But the one thing I do want to say about Kuminga, I like tonight that he didn't force a three. He tried to take layups, and he tried to play team ball. And, that's where he needs to be like that every game. The three's not there, kick it inside. You're quick enough. So
what do you think of the end of the game when Brown got the ball on the court, called the timeout? The Nuggets had none, and Kerr was going crazy because that's an automatic technical.
That's a technical foul, yeah.
And that would have been a technical foul. Curry would have made it. They would have got to within 3. They would have reset the clock back to when he was calling timeout. It was 1.9 when they called the whistle. It would have been probably about 3 seconds. Warriors could have possibly got the tip and maybe.
Yeah, I don't think we win it, but I think why Kerr was really mad isn't even that maybe we win it or tie it. It's more about just the officiating overall.
The principle.
Just down the stretch, the officiating, like we mentioned, and that's not why we lost. But I think they just call they could miss, they were going to miss it.
Right.
They could call on the other side, they were going to call it, and I think it was pretty evident that the Nuggets were getting the hometown whistle tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and 14 big turnovers.
Says, Dan, don't make excuses. No, I wasn't making excuses. I was just purely pointing out that was a botched call. You have to, anytime a player, I used to officiate, anytime a player calls a timeout or signals a timeout, you have to grant it. And if they're out of them,
it's an automatic technical.
And you should have been able to review that. I think that's what Kerr was saying. You go over and view that. And the point is that the refs weren't having any of it. But, somebody wanted me to get on Wiggins. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Giovanni. I don't think Wiggins is trash at all. He didn't have a great game tonight, but that doesn't mean, he's trash. I got to say this. Wiggins didn't really get into the flow of the game tonight. He wasn't in there as much. And a lot of times guys, when they play much, look at Moody tonight. He got into a rhythm because he played, and he was a key factor tonight. I don't understand Moody's minutes being limited so many nights because he is a really, I don't want to say he's a good ball player. He's got room to grow, and I think he could be a catalyst like he was tonight. What do you guys think of Moody's game tonight?
I've always been a fan of Moody. They got to play him more. I don't know what he did to Kerr. It's been the same thing the last, almost 2.5 years. He doesn't get a chance to prove himself, especially when you're down green. I mean, what do you think, Brian?
Listen to its message. Yes, I did officiate. I officiated high school varsity basketball. Okay, that was pretty good level of basketball. Guys were like, 6'7", 6'8", lots of slam dunks. I was officiating a pretty good basketball league in Southern California.
Hey, okay. Dan, I got a question. Do you think when these are like the ESPN games of the night, they're officiated differently by the NBA? Because this hasn't been the first time that the Warriors have sort of been a primetime game, and there's been some questionable calls.
I think they would want to be on their best when it's a primetime game, but
but you also got to give Denver a little credit. They were out of it, and it was like they wanted to win more than the Warriors tonight.
I just think Jokic is just all world. He's just too good. They had nothing to stop him. Nobody ever can stop him.
And I thought Braun played great. I mean, that's the first time I've really seen him play.
I thought at the end of the game, it wasn't really Jokic that necessarily even won the game. I think it was us that kind of lost it. I think Lou made a good point about the end of the game. We didn't score anything. If you're up in I forget what I think it was 115-109 with 2:04 left. You got to take that.
We were 113-105 with 4:03 left.
Yeah, and then I think it was 115-109 with 2:0. It was with 2 minutes. It was you got to hold that.
We got outscored 14-2 in the last 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah, you gotta get some shots. I do think Jokic was great tonight, but I actually think they limited his passing enough because they even mentioned that he only has 7 assists, which is a lot, but for Jokic that's not much. So I actually think they did a decent job on Jokić tonight. I think it was more of again, what Lou's mentioned, these fourth quarter collapses. We're having literally scoring droughts that have cost us, I'd say 3 of the last 5 games, Lou, wouldn't you say, are basically from these scoring droughts? No, but not all of them were from these scoring droughts. Some of them were just, we were getting outscored. Like the Spurs, they came back. You go, these last couple, we can't get a bucket at all. It's the same thing at these just droughts. It'll be like 3 minutes or 4 minutes.
Right.
And
right.
this all goes, I'm sorry, Dan. What I was
I
say
was
is
just
this
saying,
all
I
goes
was
back
agreeing.
to the first half. How many buckets, bunny layups did they miss?
Yep.
Even the Warrior homers announcers kept saying, you're going to look back in the fourth quarter and wish you had these because you're not going to be able to get it back. But they probably missed 8 or 9 bunnies, easy layups that, they don't sound like much when you have maybe 2 in the first couple of minutes, 2 at the end of the quarter, but it all adds up, especially at the end when you do have your slumps, where if you just get a couple of these easy layups, you win. I mean, Ryan, last game you were saying, God, if they would have made their free throws, half of them we would have won. All these things add up, especially when you're on the road in the NBA against a quality team that needed the win.
So who's the Cup number 1 seed in the West? Is it the Warriors or Houston?
No, it's someone else.
No,
now.
I believe it's Oklahoma, maybe.
I hope they lose the first Cup game and we're out of it. So it's over.
It's Houston and Golden State are the group. Houston's Group A, Golden State's Group C, Oklahoma is Group B, and then there's a wild card, which will probably be the Mavericks. So I don't know who's going to be the one. The Warriors are either the 1 or 2 because they have a home game. But I think
and it also goes by total points. I don't know if you guys saw the earlier game with the Knicks, where the Knicks, who'd they play again? They played Charlotte or Orlando. If Orlando would have lost by 36, they would have gone out of it. So
Orlando's playing Milwaukee, and Atlanta is playing at the Knicks in the Eastern Conference. In the West, they haven't determined who's playing who, but it did say something about because the Warriors lost, Houston gets a home game. So don't the Warriors have a home game locked up?
Yeah, they played Tuesday night too.
So that means the Warriors are either the 1 or 2 seed. So
I believe maybe the 2 seed then.
If they're the 1 seed, they would play Dallas. That would be wild. Clay coming back for that game. And then if they're the 2 seed, they would probably play OKC. So I don't know how this thing works. We'll find out.
Yeah,
later.
the Cup's dumb. It's not a big fan of it.
But yeah, you're looking at this.
It's Thunder, Mavs, Rockets, Warriors is what Kitchen Handy said.
Thunder.
And then Dan, we have a tough game in 2 days. A young Houston team that's playing really good ball right now.
Yeah, they're going to lose again, most likely. They're probably going to lose again, especially if Draymond's not playing. I mean, this team is it's coming back down to earth to that more where they're going to fall in line.
Yeah,
probably
where I thought they would be 5-6. That's where I thought.
I think I picked it. We'll have to go back and look, but I think I picked them 7.
Yeah, you had them in the play, and I had them 5-6.
Okay, it's going to be tough.
I think they're in the 6, and I think they're going to end up somewhere in the 4 to 6 seed. I think still. I think this is like we've talked about before going into this stretch. We all expected it to be really rough. You said there was even a possibility they only win a couple games, but the good thing of that was because of how far ahead they were. They could. I mean, really, they could lose another couple. They're 12-8 now. They lose the next 4. I mean, you're still okay. If you're 500 going in 20, you'd be like, all right, you wouldn't be happy because we started out so hot. But I'm just saying they still have a little bit of leeway. And the next 2 games against the T-Wolves are actually kind of a good spot for us to see really where we're at because they're at 500. So if you can't win one of these 2, I'd start, sounding the alarms because
right now they're 7th, which is hard to believe because it seemed like 2 weeks ago they were number 1.
Yeah, but everyone's like a half game.
It's a long season.
Yeah, but in the West right now, Lou, everyone's in like a half game of each other. They win 2 in a row. They'll be back to what? They'll
be a stretch.
they'll be back to the second seed. So they gotta win some games here.
I gotta believe they're gonna make a move.
But if you remember, me and Dan have been saying through New Year's, it's tough. There's no gimmies. There's maybe two gimmies.
I think it's gonna be they're gonna make a move.
I don't know.
They're gonna make a move probably after the 15th. I think.
Of December?
Yeah. I think soon as Melton's eligible to get traded, they got to make a move quick because this season is going to start teetering. So Dan, Larry is mad at you for my Purdy take. Oh, did he mention that? What was my Purdy take that he's mad at?
But yeah, anyways, I think again, so I'm looking at the standings right now. I mean, everyone from the 2 seed to the 8 seed has 7 or 8 losses. The Clippers have 9, everyone else 8. It's like they're all bunched up. Basically, we're fine where we're at. I think if we continue to reel off here, we're not. So I think let's look at the next 5 games. Let's pull it up.
Let me pull that up here. NBA.
I think it's important for us to go like 3-2.
Now remember, we have 5 games, but then we also have the quarterfinals of the tournament.
Right.
Let me take a look here. All right, I'll pull this up right here. 47.
Yeah, I think it's important, like I said, for the Warriors here, coming up to kind of, win some of these games and I think what I will say is about losing a lot of these games. It's the good thing is you're in all of these games, and as a fan, you have to feel like, okay, if we can kind of make a right trade, we'd win at least half of these. I think if you just replace Melton's salary, having that mid-level exception out, that's an important player for every team in the league. $13 million player is a Dante DiVincenzo or a Dennis Schroeder or a Nikola Vucevic or I can go down the line of different people I'd love to have at that. Melton when he was healthy. So I think once we're able to fill that slot in, I feel like we would have won. If we had that slot filled, or once we do, we're going to start winning a lot more of these games because we're right there. We lost by 4 tonight, the other night, but we're in all these games. It's a few different plays like we've talked about, and I think not having pods in as much and different key factors, which will all happen when we get another person in there for that salary slot.
Absolutely. There's your schedule for the rest of till Christmas. And then you got the Lakers.
So right after this, Minnesota is going to be the Cup. So it's going to go Houston, Minnesota, and then it's going to go the Cup game against who was it? Kitchen Handy said we were playing
OKC, maybe?
I think it was.
It's either OKC or Dallas. I don't know how the thing comes out.
But yeah, anyway, so either OKC or Dallas. I think Houston we can win, but it's going to be a good one because if we beat Houston again, they're a second seed, so I think we'll get some. It'll be a really good morale boost, and they're still a young enough and small enough team where we can run with those guys and we can play with them, kind of like OKC. Like they kind of remind me of that, where we're going to be in the games against OKC. I mean, even when Steph didn't play, we were almost won that game. So I think we're going to be in that one. If we can sneak that win, I think that'd be a huge morale boost going into the doubleheader against Minnesota.
Yeah.
And it's at home.
They're coming off a loss in Sacramento. Sacramento made their last 15 shots of the game to beat them. So,
wow. 15 shots where the Warriors.
Yeah, there seems to be a little
missing.
thing with Dylan Brooks and Draymond, though. I think Draymond will, bring some edge to that game, which is always good.
Yeah, we got to get Warriors just need to find somebody that can score. Jake,
they need another scorer and another ball handler.
Let me get what about Brandon Ingram? Brandon Ingram's going to cost quite a bit, isn't he? What's his salary?
I'd rather have him than that horrible Duke guy who's always injured, the most worthless piece of first-round pick ever.
Zion Williamson.
Zion's always injured.
Right.
He's injured more than Giants. Giants players. It's hard to believe.
Sengun gives the Warriors difficulty because I thought Trace Jackson Davis, I thought he played decent tonight with against Jokic. He wasn't really getting faked out. He wasn't giving ground. But Jokic just kept hitting all of his shots. He hit whether they were threes or whether they were, top of the key or in the key. He just was hitting everything the first half he wasn't. But second half, what did he miss? 2 shots? Second half?
That's why he should have been 3-time MVP, but 2-time MVP. He's dominant. He's the biggest big man in basketball.
No, he is a 3-time MVP.
Thank you, Christopher, for subscribing. Appreciate that. I think we are now, our subs, by the way, are at, they just went up. There it is.
Yeah, I think, Parker makes a good point. We haven't touched on this yet because I don't think anyone likes to get on Curry. Or this is Jake's comment. Oops.
Thanks for subbing, guys. Appreciate
Parker
it.
Says Curry shot like hot ass tonight. That was a problem. Parker, I'm with you. I do think he actually was pretty good for the fourth. He was only in for 4 minutes. He was, I think, went 2 of 4, I believe. He just, he wasn't. I think, again, I mentioned it earlier. I don't think he got pulled in early enough. And then I think another key factor is with Curry right now, everyone's selling out super hard. He's getting guarded, full court, and always as soon as he gets the ball past half court. And without having that second shot creator, he's seeing a lot of double teams, and he's not trying to exert himself the entire game, while also he understands he has to take certain shots in the offense. So I think he's taking a lot of, rush or shots he wouldn't really want to take if he had another person to take them. And I do think, he's dealing with an injury, which he mentioned too, with his knee. And I think, we're going to, until that kind of heals up a little bit more, I think we're going to kind of see a little bit less of a efficient Curry. But he was still good tonight. I thought overall he was, some people aren't a big plus minus, but he was a +5 and or +7. And he overall had a good floor game. I think he had 12 assists. So, I thought he was, probably the best Warrior tonight. He wasn't a great game from Curry, but I don't think he played bad. He just didn't shoot good.
He did have one of the biggest plays of the game. He had a wide open layup and somehow he missed it. And then they went the other way and scored.
In the fourth?
Remember that? Even the announcer said, "Oh my God! Like, how can you miss a wide open?" And it happens. It's
it was the left. He went with the left hand. He just didn't get it up. You know what that was?
Yeah,
tired legs. Tired legs. He did not get enough.
Well, you got to remember they tried something different, and you're in the altitude.
Yeah,
it's tough to play in Denver.
Yeah. Why is what the heck is going on?
Again, they didn't have a great 3-point game, but that happens.
Yeah, they were smothering Curry at the 3-point line, and they the only time they were able to really get him free was the first half when they were able to get a lot of ball movement and they were able to spread the floor more and move the ball around, and Curry would go from one side to the next and the screens. But when they get into the half court offense and they're not, going down the court with, maybe 3-on-2, and then they move the ball around. But when the defense gets set, the Warriors have a really hard time against some of the bigger teams.
Yeah, that's the plan of the NBA. Double team Curry, let him work for his shots, and let somebody else beat you.
Yeah, and I'll pull up this comment too, because I see a lot of people in the chat talking about this. I don't think the Warriors need to make a major trade. We've talked about on the show some minor trades. Again, I don't know if anyone's been watching the whole show or where you guys came in the chat, but basically, the issue is DeAnthony Melton was an important player for us, and he was being paid almost $13 million. And when we replace that salary, which we will, Dan, what's the day he's available to be traded?
December 15th.
Just look, guys. Look out for the Warriors between December 15th to December 30th to before New Year's. I guarantee you, DeAnthony Melton is off the books. He will be gone. Definitely 1,000%. I bet money before the trade deadline. He's gone. And once we're able to get just him, whoever that salary matches up with, will be a player who can get minutes. And I think, like I said before, we're not losing these games, guys, by 15 or 20. We're losing by 4. We're losing by 6. We're losing by, it's a couple possession games. The one game where we lost by 10, that was just because it became free throws at the end. That was a one possession game too. I think it was against the Spurs. I forget which one it was. But same thing. I think, again, guys, people are discounting because he's not a big name, DeAnthony Melton's absence.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's now been 2 weeks since he's gone. We got to adapt.
Oh, no, I agree with you, Lou. Don't you think once we get someone else in for him, we'll probably see some improvement?
What do you think of this?
We got to wait another 12 days?
It's going to be a rough 12 days.
Yeah, you got to wait. You can't move. You can't move Melton. You can't move him, and he's the guy they need to move first, unless they have.
I thought at the beginning of the season we had 14 guys, so one guy's out, and it's affecting everybody.
You're right, Lou. That was the misconception, and that's where the whole hype Steve Kerr tried to sell on that. It was BS. It was basically Hield and Melton were pretty impactful, and it was really kind of them carrying the way.
Yeah, I really think that you keep bringing up one name from the big thing, and you got a guy that literally was on fire the first 2 weeks of the season.
Oh, Buddy.
Boy, when he goes, the Warriors go because you have another scorer.
Yep, Buddy. Yep.
What do you guys? All about Buddy. He's not
Buddy
scoring
needs,
well. His shot is sort of off.
It's a little flatter. It's a little flatter right now. His shot. It doesn't have the same arc that it did early in the season. What do you guys think about this? Do you think they'll regret not giving up the assets? Was it Pods they wanted in the deal for Markkanen? What was the trade that was?
Oh no, he wanted the kitchen sink. I don't think they regret it.
Yeah, but what they want? They wanted Kuminga.
They wanted Kuminga. They wanted Pod. They wanted all of our picks, 3 picks.
No, it was Wiggins, Kuminga,
Pods,
and Pods, and a number 2.
No, and 3 firsts.
Yeah, that's a lot to give up.
I mean, I wouldn't. I thought it was too much, especially because.
But the rumor was because they wanted Pods. That was holding around. We'll never know.
Yeah.
What do we got? We got a lot of trolls in here, Mark says. And then somebody says, especially Dodger fans. I see a lot of your comments in here about 49ers and Giants. We may get to that when we finish up the show, but we're got to focus in on this Warriors thing right now.
Yeah, we got a Giants live coming tomorrow, so check out that if you want to talk
check
Giants.
out some videos tomorrow, guys. We got some good videos that'll be out, some Giants stuff. I've actually got another one that is what I think. Well, maybe I'll talk. I don't know. I'll either put it in a video form or talk about it tomorrow. But what I really believe the Giants need to do, and just to give you a little hint, think about a building that's been decimated to the ground. What do you got to do? Start over. So, imagine that. And we'll get back to this Warriors thing, but just imagine if the Giants had started rebuilding in 2018 or 19, actually started to rebuild. But anyway, Warriors, they got this tough schedule coming up. Okay. So
I think it softens up. I kind of disagree. I don't think it's
Houston, Minnesota, Memphis, Minnesota, Indiana.
Yeah, I don't think Minnesota's that good. That's the thing where I think if we aren't beating Minnesota in those games, I think that's a concern.
Well, the problem is with
Minnesota's reeling right now, and you gotta hit them while they're down. Yes, I know we're down too, but they're also having a really rough season.
There's a couple guys that really scare me with Minnesota, and 3 of them.
Niles Reed,
Naz Reed,
yeah,
McDaniel, and Gobert because of their length. The Warriors, for whatever reason, when they face teams with length, they just they change their game, and the way the Warriors throw the ball loosely, even Curry gets involved in this, throwing these, over the head passes, cute pass. You can't throw when you got guys like Reed and McDaniel that have super length and athleticism.
It's a layup the other way.
It always. And then Gobert trying to, go to the hoop, to the rack on a drive like Moody would do, or Kuminga. I'm telling you, man, that's the Warriors don't do well against teams with length. And you saw it a little bit tonight.
Yeah, they had a big talk. I don't know if you guys saw it 5 days ago, a closed-door meeting. And Edwards, who, is one of the top 10 players in the league, basically called the team soft, said, if you guys aren't going to play hard, we might as well get rid of you. And they went to LA and they swept the Clippers and the Lakers. So
this year?
Yeah, this just happened a week ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if they did that, if they swept
when you go to LA and you beat the Clippers and they smoked the Lakers, this might not be the same team. They had their down.
I don't think I disagree with you, Ryan, with Minnesota, because that's a tough team to face for the Warriors. I just don't like the matchup. The one advantage the Warriors may have is we have slow-mo and Minnesota doesn't. That takes another guy with length on defense away from Minnesota and gives them a plus to us. But the Warriors better be hitting their three-point shots if they're going to beat Minnesota, because they're going to have to get up double digits and hang on, because Anthony Edwards, man, and then you get those three big guys, McDaniels, Naz Reid, and Gobert. And then Dante could light it up too. I know he hasn't done well with them, but I just
the other thing too is not really talking about is we play Minnesota. It's going to be back to back after Houston, so Houston's going to run crazy, and then we got to play Minnesota the next day. That's not easy.
I think that's a more important factor. The length with the tired legs is going to be important.
Does Minnesota?
Yeah, but I think they still got to win one of those games, Lou, to be if you don't win one of those Minnesota games, I don't care how long or tall
I see Minnesota plays against the Clippers again. So they went Clippers, Lakers, Clippers. So they're playing this the night before too. They play the Clippers.
Okay, Clippers are good.
And then they come to us.
Yeah, I was just looking that up. The 5th, they play. You're right. They on the 5th. Wait a minute. Is that right? Houston. No, Minnesota does not play on Thursday night. Lou, are you saying they played? No,
I thought they played Thursday night against Clippers. So let me take a look. Sorry.
No, I was
right here.
At...
Oh, they play tomorrow. Yeah, they
tomorrow.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Thursday,
Sorry.
Tomorrow.
So they'll have a day off. The Warriors have to go back to back.
That's not good for the Warriors. Not good, because Houston can run you ragged.
Yeah, they'll run ragged.
What is Houston's? Let's pull this up. Let's take a look at the standings real quick and see what it looks like.
They're second seed.
I know, but here we go. Houston and OKC are the teams now, huh? Okay. 16-5, 15-7. Look at the Warriors, 12-8. They were 12-3, or were they 12-2 at one point? What was were they 12-3 or 12-2?
They were 12-3. They've lost 5 straight.
Yep, they were 12-3. Yeah, okay. So they're really only a game and a half from being out of the whole thinking thing.
Yeah, but if you look at it the other way, Dan, we're a game and a half from being the second seed too.
True. Yeah.
Two games from second seed, a game and a half. All right. No. Yeah. 2 games from second seed, just 1 game from being third seed.
Yeah.
Because look, the Mavs have 8 losses too, right? Check it out. Yeah, 14.
Mavs
They
have,
just played more games.
yeah.
We played 20 games. Some teams have played 22 and 23. I mean, we're all like I said. I think these next 5 games are important. If you lose 5 or you lose 4, you're going to be at the bottom of the play-in and probably out of it. But if you win the next, you'll probably be the 2nd or 3rd seed.
Yeah.
The West this year, it's really important to keep our ground, because if you get far behind, it's 500. It's not like it's not a season where you can. It's just like last year where you can't really. What were we? 8 games over 500 last season, and we were the 10th seed. It's like it's gonna, I think, kind of be a similar situation this year.
10 over 500, 46 and 36.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I think it's going to be a similar situation this year. And I saw a lot of people.
I don't see them getting any higher than 6 during this season, and I think they're going to battle between 6 and probably 9. I think that's. I mean,
I'd see them 4 to 6. I think some of those teams. Oh, Dan's gone. So what Dan was saying was where he thought them. I see them more about 4 to 6, Lou, because the reasoning behind that is I think that
hit the wrong.
Dan's back. The reasoning behind that is I said I think they're more in the 4 to 6 range, and the reasoning behind that is I think the Suns are 1 injury away from, and we saw it when KD was injured before. When one of the 3 guys are out, they kind of are more of a 500 team because they don't have that many role players. They have added some depth this year, but Lou was even saying that, and he was right. He's like, wait till the Suns get KD back, they're going to start winning again, which is true. But they're also a KD, a Booker, or a Beal injury away from losing a bunch of games. Whereas I don't feel like we're one player. Like, if we add back someone, we already know Melton's out for the season. We know we're going to replace that. And if for some reason Steph misses some time, we saw the Warriors were pretty decent without Steph. I have a little more concerns about some of the teams ahead of them for injury risk. And, I think the Warriors can kind of contribute. I think they can stay out of the play-in. I think if they need to make a move, though. I think if they stay with the same roster, there's no chance they're going to be out of the play-in.
The Warriors need to beat the weak teams in the East and be 500 against the teams in the West. Like when we lost to Brooklyn, that hurt. Those are teams that we got to take care of. We're going to have to take care of Indy. When we play Detroit, Toronto, Charlotte, we got to beat them all. They're not that good. We're in the toughest conference this year. The West is brutal. And, here's the thing. One thing about the West that we really didn't talk about, Denver didn't have their starting 5 until a week ago. They're now 3-0.
Right.
You had KD out. I don't know what's going on with Sacramento and Stuart, the boys. Sacramento has lost 8 out of the last 9. The talk I've been hearing is the coach might be fired because he has talent. They don't know what they're doing. You got Minnesota with problems where, the best players got to have a thing. I'm not worried about the Lakers, but Denver's going to be better. The Clippers still don't have their best player, and somehow they have a better record than us. Dallas is up and down. Houston's good, and Oklahoma. So we gotta play tough every game, and we got to beat the teams in the East, and we got to learn how to close. We've had 5 tough games where, late we should have won, but got to put it behind us. Got to win the next game. You know how they always say the saying, 1 game at a time, because this could get bad. I don't want to come back and do another post-game show and have the Warriors lose again 6 straight and then lose again 7 straight. Then people start doubting the Warriors, start doubting Kerr. And then what do? We make a trade out of desperation, and maybe we don't get the player that we should get. We just get a player because we sort of have to. You got to remember, Dunleavy's really never been in this situation either. So, we got to give Dunleavy an opportunity to make the great trade to improve the Warriors, not to keep the Warriors where they're at. So I think it's important.
Yeah, and I completely agree. A lot of people in the chat real quick are talking about seeding for the Warriors, and I'll just kind of explain my thought process behind the 4 to 6 seed. versus, people are saying lower seeding. I think the West is going to be really crunched up. I think it's very possible we could be an 8 seed, but I just, I think that if, like I said, if we can win
8
some of
seed at
these,
42 and 40.
but I think, you win these close games, you're gonna be in the better seeding spot. And I
mean,
think
they easily could have won the last 4.
Yep,
say
exactly.
Maybe 4-1, and now we're talking about something different. 16.
And I think that's what people in the chat, and that's what I was gonna say. I think that's what people in the chat kind of aren't giving me credit for, and some other people who are a little bit more higher on the Warriors still, even though the losing streak. This isn't a Giants team or a Niners team that just looks like lost and they, are getting beat up. This is, the Warriors have an identity. They're just not coming through at the end of games. They're making they're making dumb plays. You can see scoring droughts. You can see that there's stuff to fix. Like we've all talked about, oh, we need a big man, or oh, we need a second scorer. It's not, I don't think it's in a place where, oh, the team's definitely a play-in team because there's nothing they can do. I agree with everyone in the chat who's saying this is a play-in team with this roster. But as we've discussed, DeAnthony Melton is out for the season, and he will be tradable in 12 days. And the Warriors would be very idiotic, and Joe Lacob is not an idiot. So he will be moving that, that contract 100%.
Yeah. And I think
that's why I base that off
of this team with Melton out. They need everybody on the floor. They need their starters to score, and they need their bench players to actually be bench players. They got to cut down the turnovers and get better on the free throws, and we're fine if we can do those 4 aspects of the game.
Dan, you're muted.
They're 12-8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember at the beginning of the season saying I think they're going to go 12-8 for the first 20. That's pretty wild. I just realized that.
Dan, you're remarkable.
I actually was saying I hope they could get to 12-8 because when I looked at the schedule, it looked pretty tough. And actually, they're a better team than I thought they would be at the beginning of the season going into it.
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly thought they were a 46, and they may still be a 46-48 win team.
Ryan just told me they're going to go 42 and 40 and be at the 8 seed.
It's not what I said. No, I think
not a problem.
I think this team was, a little bit too hot at the beginning, and I think it's fine because we got ourselves a little bit of cushion. But again, I think this team has played well for having Steph out for 5 games, I believe. It's either 4 or 5, and you've had Melton out for, half of the season. And you've had Draymond miss some time. You've had a lot of different people you've added in. I think actually so far it's been, I think people are just kind of frustrated right now because when you reel 5 games off in a row, it's always a tough one. But I think if you actually look about it from the outside looking in, I really think this is a good spot to be in after 20 games. I think what's really going to be important is really the next, 5 to 10. Because like I said, you go.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like I said, if you go in the next 5, 1 and 4, then you're in a bad spot. You're 13 and 12. You're basically 500 the season. It's like everything you did didn't matter. But you go 2 and 1 in the next 3. Or I mean, not 2 and 1. You go 3 and 2 or 4 and 1 in the next 5. You're 5 or 6 games over 500 after 25 games. You probably feel pretty good given everything that's happened so far this season.
Yeah.
So right now, the 5 teams that are not in the play-in, it's Minnesota 10-10, Sacramento's 10-12, Portland's 8-4. Portland's 8-14 is going to be, well, they're probably not going to make it because the Mavs point differential in this cup thing. But the Blazers had a shot to get to be in this cup thing. That tells you just how bad this stupid cup tournament is. If you had the Blazers,
10 million Emirates.
Oh man, we'll see how this ends up. But next game is what Friday night, Houston.
Yeah, Houston.
No,
hey, Dan, I have a question.
It's Thursday.
For you guys,
Thursday.
Ryan.
Thursday.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys because early in the season we said, hey, we have 14 guys I don't think Curry was really injured. They said something that I've never heard of on the kneecap. I think since it was a game on TV or one of these cup games, they made something up. That was sort of the thing on KBR. They were talking about just to give him a rest. What I'm upset about Curry is you have 14 guys. Okay, now 13. Why are you playing these guys so much where they need a day off? It's not back-to-back. I know Curry and his age, he needed a day off. That's fine. But now you have Green, who basically really needed a day off. With 12 guys and their rotation, nobody should have a day off. We're playing 12 guys. We're not playing 8 guys. I think what we got to do is time management just a little bit better. And that could be one of the problems why we're getting so tired.
Well, I think they were doing it better in the beginning of the season because you did have Melton in there, who was really a key. He's not only a really good defender, but he's a really capable offensive player. And then that made the rotations, you had guys with Melton. There wasn't this big, huge drop off. Remember when Steph missed 3 games earlier this year, Melton was playing and the Warriors won all 3 games with Steph out. And then, so what they have to do, and Mark Graves just hit it. He just about what I was going to say is these little injuries like Steph's, like the whatever you said they had with his knee or whatever that was, and then Draymond, what was his Draymond, a calf tonight or something? What did they say?
Yeah,
sore
something.
calf.
But you knew he wasn't going to play. They talked about it earlier.
Look,
because you can't take a guy off when it's one of these primetime games on ESPN.
Right. So these calf, whatever you make up, there's no what are you going to do to say guy doesn't have a calf injury? It's just
exactly.
like, oh, it's sore. I need a little break. What are you going to say? It's a fake report? There's nothing you can come up with. It's like,
yeah.
So
yeah,
this is kind of what they're going to do, and you'll see Draymond probably play. What do you got to be eligible? 65 games to be eligible for any awards. I bet you
65.
Draymond plays 68 to 70 games this year, and I bet you Steph will be right in that range too. I mean, Steph's probably, the way things have gone the last couple of weeks. I did a little MVP video a couple of weeks ago, and I had him 4th or 5th. I don't even think he's top 10 now.
No, not at all.
Yeah, he's.
Okay, well, here's my other question tonight.
I think he could still be a number 1 on a championship team, but he looks too gassed to be the number 1 all season on like the Warriors right now. I think, I take that back. Not the number. He can't be your only option, and I think that kind of takes him out of the high-end MVP talks like he used to be, because you're seeing right now that he's just, and maybe that's because of some nagging injuries or because of the Olympic run. I don't think he's fallen off or anything. Like, I think if when you've seen him actually be able to pace himself when Melton was playing and we were getting healed score, he was able to close games. We had to put to sleep early in the season. We had those things, but that's funny. But when
why didn't they play Walters tonight? Again, another judgment by Kerr. I don't understand. The other night, GP2 played 6 minutes in a game. 6 minutes. Now we don't even play Walters?
Right.
I mean, don't you think we could have used him tonight?
I don't know. Lindy's shooting's been off and on. I think Lindy and Moody kind of switched off on minutes, it seems like, for Kerr. So I liked seeing Moody tonight. I think I would have liked to see Lindy, but it would have meant less Moody. So I think, I think I would have, if you could. Yeah, and I think, again, just to go back, and I won't hit the head on it too much, is there's just too many playable players on this team, and we really got to consolidate it down to some more usable needs we need, like, moving off some people for Nikola Vucevic, getting rid of Melton, contract for a guard, stuff
All right,
like that.
The biggest need for the Warriors right now appears to be, and we just touched on it. Curry looks tired. He can't do it all. Who's a player that you go out and get that this is okay? We're going to relieve Steph. Maybe it's two players. Maybe it's a Schroeder to handle the ball. So when Steph's off the floor, you don't have to have pods out there. And it's Schroeder running the offense, or Schroeder, whatever his name is. Schroeder,
Yeah,
right?
Schroeder or Schroeder, either one.
Maybe it's him, and then maybe it's another guy that when Steph is on the court that you would like to see in a Warriors uniform. Who is that guy?
For me, it's Schroeder, and then right after that, it's Dante. I think Schroeder's a little.
Can you get them both? Would you want both of them?
No, I would want one. I think they play the same role for the team. I think you would want one of them. I think Schroeder would be the little bit of the better end of it, just because Schroeder, I think, has better ball handling and point guard skills and can still give you the same, scoring burst that Dante can. He's not the 3-point shooter. Dante can be at times in certain seasons, but I think Schroeder's a better closer and has more, he has more in his bag. Schroeder's got pretty crazy moves into the lane, and he is a really good clutch time player. I don't know if anyone was watching any of the Germany Olympic games ever the last few years. He's always good in the Olympics. He's always been good on the Laker playoff runs. Anytime that dude's in a big game, he plays well, either on the offensive end if they need him, or if that's guarding the best team's guard. He's given Steph a lot of headaches through his career and a lot of other guards. Love Schroeder. Don't like it when he's on the other team, but I like his, and he has that dog in him. It would be another Draymond type of, he's going to get in players' faces. He's going to, dive for loose balls. And I think, if you can't get Schroeder, my next would be right after that would be Dante. And then after that would be, like a Robert Williams or a Nikola Vucevic. What I do think you can do, though, is you can add a Dante or a Schroeder and then add a big man, like a Nikola Vucevic or a Robert Williams, someone who's, not on the high end of big end players, but still big men players, but still is, a valuable player in this league. I think you can add a guard and a big man, and I think that's what the Warriors, really need to do.
Right. Now, let's see.
Not Robin Williams. Sorry, Jake.
Warriors using non-exempt treatment biannual 7%. I'm reading a trade. Cut 9,560 from Warriors incoming trade.
And I don't want Jimmy Butler. I think he's too old.
Yeah, I agree.
That was a big rumor. I'd rather get
I've heard about
the
that.
kid from UCLA, James.
Yeah, they're not going to trade Hake, but yeah, he's good. Hake James.
Well, you got to remember, he's been there now 3 years, so he's going to be up for.
No, this is the second year. He got drafted the same year as Pods.
Oh God!
Somebody mentioned, and I don't think you could do this trade. Somebody mentioned in the chat trade for
CJ.
CJ, yeah.
I don't want CJ.
And look what you got to give up to get CJ. I mean, you got to give a lot up if you don't want to give up Wiggins.
Yeah. Any of those guys in New Orleans, you got to give. They're all max players.
Yeah, you 33,000. So you got to come up with more salary so that you'd have to give them 5 players plus. I mean, that's a lot to give up. For Melton, he's gone, so you're not losing anything there. Santos, you're not losing anything there. So it's really Kuminga is the piece that's the hardest piece.
And you're only going to have him for 1 year. Isn't that a 2-year contract?
I'm not in on it.
Yeah, I don't think that works.
I'd rather have Kyle Kuzma. Let's pull up the Kuzma. I know we pulled it up briefly before. Kyle Kuzma has been linked to the Warriors a lot in the last few days. Let's pull that up real quick, and then we can kind of wrap it up here.
Kyle Kuzma?
Yep, a lot of people have been linking him to the Warriors. Athletic had the video out on him recently. ESPN was talking about Wizards or shopping.
He's still with
him.
the Wizards?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's on a low. We pulled it up recently the other day, but we didn't get into it much. Let's, we could spend 5 minutes on it real quick.
Kyle.
He makes like 20 23.5.
23.5.
Oh
23.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so we will give up. Well, they're going to want Kuminga in that deal, aren't they?
Yeah, and you.
Well,
would,
we're going to have to trade Kuminga because what are we going to do? Do you want to pay him max? Do you think he's worth it, Dan?
Well, he's going to be able to go out on the open market, and the Warriors will have an opportunity to match it. So somebody could give him a pretty good contract, and the Warriors have to decide. At that point, they'd probably
But you
try
could
and
also
match
lose
into
him. Let's get something for him. Don't do the Farhan.
They can always match it and do a sign and trade in the NBA. That's one thing that's kind of nice.
right.
Melton, and we need one
Here,
more
show the
player.
screen.
Here we
So
go,
the chat can
Pods.
see it.
I'm ready to let go of Pods because there we go.
Here, show the chat.
Let me first make sure it's successful. Oops, hit the wrong. Well, I'll try it here. Let me hit this. NBA trade. Here you go. Now we got to try this trade. See if it's successful. See the trade there? 23. I think it'll work. Ta-da. There you go.
Yeah, I don't think you have to give up all of that though. I think you could, if you're gonna give up I don't think you have to give up Pods in that deal if you're giving up Kuminga. And if you're giving up Kuminga, you don't have to give up Pods.
Well,
I think you should do whatever you can to get rid of Pod so you get something for him. I don't want him back.
But I think you can move Pods in a different. I think Pods has too much value.
All right, so let's
wants Pods.
Let's throw in Geese. Let's throw in Guy Santos and see if it works. I don't think it will because we're. Oops, what happened to my screen? Okay, let's try it with this one. It's a little under. Probably won't work. Oops. Come on, where's trade failed? Okay.
Yeah, but what if you go like this? I don't, I think you could do.
I think I can get it. I think I can get it with
Kuminga. Give him Pods.
Try it. Let's try it this way. Let's try it with Waters. I think it might work with Waters. 22-6. Nope. Let's give him Waters and Santos. And that will work. There you go. Okay, so you got Melton who's going. Waters would be no loss. Santos no loss. It's basically Kuminga or Kuzma, and you probably. I don't know if Washington wants to do that deal without Kuminga, but we'll try it. Let's try it.
Yeah, I think you get Washington to do that deal without Kuminga if you throw them Pods and a pick.
But you got to give more salary, Ryan. You got to have more.
No,
salary.
I know. So you'd have to give them like probably Looney or Payton in this deal. So what about throw them Pods, and then throw in Payton instead of Kuminga, and then take out Guy.
All right, so we're gonna give him. Did you
Payton
say Payton
and Pods? Payton and Pods.
Or do you want to go? Yeah, keep Looney. Okay.
I think you need to keep Looney. I think Looney's shown. I think Lou's right. I think without Looney this year, we probably have about maybe 8 wins.
Okay,
now
you're.
As soon as Looney came out of the game, we lost. He came out of the game with 2 minutes. Boom, just like that. Jokić took over.
He's been worth the money.
There you go. Success. Yeah, plus, you save some money on the taxes.
And you're getting. You're saving like a lot of money in tax room.
For the savings, you might have to give up a second.
Oh, you did in this deal, you'd have to give them a first round and a couple seconds.
A first round or 2?
No, just 1 first, and then you'd give them a couple seconds, like 2 seconds.
So you're in essence,
and they'd be all over this because they want teams want the Warriors picks down the line because teams are expecting the Warriors to be really shitty once Curry retires.
So what do you think it is? You think it's a number 1 pick
from 2030, whatever the latest one is, they would want whatever the latest one we can offer is. I think it's 2030. They would want that. And the Warriors would probably be like, no, we'll give you the 28, and they'd come to some, agreement with a protected, it would be like top 10 protected or top 5 protected, something like probably top 5 because the Wizards would want it to be lottery.
Lakewood would probably like this move. It'd save him some money.
I think Lakewood would like this deal too because you're able to get rid of a dead player, Melton, and you're really only losing Pods and Peyton, and you're probably losing Peyton next year anyways. So you're really just losing Pods.
Right.
Hey, what about like
at
someone?
a good deal?
What about like
Malik
Malik Beasley
not bad
for Detroit?
I'd be all over that. I like Beasley too.
I mean, Beasley's an upgrade. He's still young.
You want to start over? You want to see Beasley?
I mean, he can shoot.
Come on. Detroit versus Golden State. He can't be traded.
He's one of those. All right.
No. The guy I'd really love is Jaden Ivey, but
good luck. Not
do
happening.
whatever you can. Sign Kate Cunningham. Anyone but Curry.
Yeah, Cade Cunningham's nice. You want to try another trade?
I like Osur Thompson too, but that's not happening either.
You want to try another one?
Yeah, I don't want Hardaway. I didn't like him at Denver. I mean, Dallas.
I didn't like him.
Let's take another
what about
team.
someone at Toronto? Let's see, because they're having a bad year. They're 7-15. Who's on their roster that we might like?
Okay, so Toronto. There's their roster right there.
No, I'd take Kelly Olynyk. He's not that great, but he's big, and he can shoot. If you couldn't get someone else for DeAnthony Melton, I would go DeAnthony Melton, Kelly Olynyk straight up, and throw them 2 second-round picks.
How about Mitchell, Davion Mitchell?
Yeah, they're not. He just got like a 1-year prove it deal. I doubt they trade him. They want to see if he's good.
How about Grady Dick? Larry.
He's way too good. Check his stats. He's hella good now.
Larry Kruger inside. They like Dick.
No, he's way too good now. He's like untradeable. He's
What
probably
about RJ Barrett?
He's I don't like RJ. He's too expensive for his production. I'd rather get, like a Schroeder for half the price. On their team, I honestly would really only be, me personally, I'd only be interested in Kelly Olynyk because I think the salary's cheap enough where you're not losing. You're literally.
I don't like his headbands. Get rid of them.
I agree. My thought process behind it would be if you can't get one of the other guys we mentioned, you can definitely get the Raptors to move off Kelly and just give them Melton and then.
He's 33 now, huh?
And if they want Pods, they can have Pods too. We'll take it.
I'm checking something here. Hold on.
Yeah, these seems. I don't know.
All right, I'm doing a little search here. All right. How about?
I mean, Indy's got problems too. They can't do anything after last year's team.
Do you guys like? He's not tradable. Shoot, I can't believe he's getting that much quickly. $32.5 million a year. Wow. All right, so let's find another quick team and then get out of here. Who might be available? Who's having a bad year? Anything in Indiana?
The Pacers.
How about Matherton?
They're not giving you that.
I'd trade 2 guys for Kuminga and them. I would get McConnell, who I love off the bench, great ball handler.
You know, a guy I like?
Benedict Mathurin. Mathurin's going to be a stud.
They're not going to give us Mathurin, but how about Nesmith? He's a pretty good little player, and he fits right into.
You could get Nesmith.
I like Nesmith. He's.
You could also probably get TJ McConnell, but I don't. That's just. I would take you get what I would do from them, huh?
Great ball handler doesn't hurt you.
No, I know. What I would do for TJ is I would give up Melton, and then what you get back is you get TJ and you get Ben Shepherd back from the Pacers. Yeah, Ben Shepherd 2.6. I was right. So you get TJ, and so you get 2 for 1. You could do that. You go, TJ for Melton, TJ and Shepard for Melton, and you give them a couple of second-round picks.
See if that works. Is this
Yeah,
showing?
I thought.
Yep.
No, he went.
This is
first
gonna
round.
work. This is gonna
There you
work.
go.
Yep. That gets to, if you want to keep up this depth thing, that keeps you. You just added 2 more. Now we can have a 15-man rotation.
How's Shepard? Is he playing much?
He's okay. I think he's better than like Guy Santos, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we get? Yeah. Wow. I'm just trying to think of anybody that would. I'm trying to think.
I check out
Who
the
would
Bulls.
be-
They're selling hard. See who the
All right.
Bulls have.
You want to get bold? Let's get bold. Let's seriously get bold. Is this showing? It is.
Don't do LeBron. That bum.
Now I'm going to take this down and I'm going to pull it up and show you the trade. We're going to get bold here. Forget this is Joe Lacob we're talking about, right? We're not the guy that is light
money's
years
never
ahead
a
of
problem with
everybody
him.
else. He's light years ahead of everybody, right? All right, here
Yes,
we go.
sir.
We are going to make this. Oh, you mean he can't be traded? Oh, that sucks.
Good one.
Well, there goes that idea for boldness. I was going for Tyrese Maxey. Can't be traded.
Why would we want Ben
Not-
Simmons? No,
Who said Ben Simmons?
Jake. Ben Simmons is the worst NBA player of all time. He's a fraud.
All right. Let's see if we can get bold here. He can't be traded either. My goodness. And he can't be traded either. 76ers are a mess. Can't even get Eric Gordon for some corner 3-point shots. Can't get Kelly Oubre. He's not tradable. Caleb Martin's not tradable. Paul George is not tradable. Andre Drummond's not tradable.
Yeah, check out the Bulls. They got some players.
All right, let's go to the Bulls. Chicago. Ladies and
Paul
gentlemen.
Hey, you know what?
George
Real
isn't
quick,
tradable until,
before we get
the
out of
December
here, pull up
He was
a
talked today.
possible Zach LaVine trade, just in case no one wants to fuck with the Warriors. We always know that the Bulls
Oh, you
are
can't
ready
do.
to
He's
move.
$43 million.
Who?
Zach LaVine.
No, I'm curious. I'm just curious because people.
What are you going to give
it.
up? Wiggins and Green?
I'm just curious. Let's just see what you'd have to do.
All right, Zach LaVine.
Just pull up the Bulls because I want to see Vucevic. I know we can get Vucevic for somebody.
All right, let me.
And Vucevic has been linked to being traded. The Bulls are already shopping him, so that's not even a rumor. That's a straight fact. So we need to. If I'm the Warriors, I'd be all over that because he can make 3-point shots and he's tall, so he will get you rebounds.
All right, let's see if this works. This just might work. This.
What do you think about Nicole? I mean, what do you think about Vucevic?
This trade failed. Cut What? Cut 197,000 from the Warriors' incoming trade value. What the heck? 42. That's all right. Let's see if this works. I think this might work if I go. Let me try adjust the trade, and we'll add in our mop-up guy that nobody wants, Guy Santos, to the deal. And does that work? Yes, it does. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We had to give up more than what they were. There you go.
Oh my Lord!
You see it?
Yeah, I think the thing is you just can't lose Wiggins now. Is there any way around to get away without giving Wiggins up?
Pretty tough. I think you'd have to
What
give
if you
up.
throw Peyton? What if you throw okay, what about this? Who else do the Bulls have? Show me the Bulls roster. Who do they have on a cheap salary?
You also got to remember, maybe that Warriors they don't
down.
want. You don't know if they want Wiggins.
No, they want to get off Levine. They'll take anything. Who's
Torrey Craig?
He's okay.
Chris Duarte. I like Duarte. They wanted him. He's on a 1-year deal. Let's see if we can do that. 48.
And then take away Wiggins.
Adjust trade. Hold on here. Take away Wiggins.
And then add Peyton.
I think we're going to have to get rid of add Peyton. Okay.
How much are we short now?
Huh. I'm going to have to get rid of Duarte.
No, but yeah, get rid of Duarte.
You're still short 15,000, 16,000.
15 million.
I mean, million, 16 million. So you're going to have to get rid of.
Yeah, you can't do it. It's just too much salary because you need Wiggins. It's just not even an option really because you can't. There's no. If you're losing Wiggins, there's no.
Why are you guys thinking of Kuminga? We got.
Yeah, but then he doesn't make enough. You'd have to give Kuminga and Looney, and then that's too much for Levine. It's too much. It's not worth it for us.
That's why you have to move off of Wiggins if you want.
Yeah, but it's not worth it because Wiggins has more value than Levine.
How many years does Wiggins have left?
3.
It's the same, but Wiggins is making 20 million less, and they probably have about the same. But yeah, they do. Their PER. Wiggins has a higher PER, so their analytical value is literally like the same. It's
right.
0.5 different. So, but Levine's making $20 million almost more. So Wiggins has more value in this league, especially after this season, and just because he's making so much less. What? No, but hey, you didn't even pull up the Vucevic thing. See what would it take for us to get Vucevic?
Vucevic?
He's on the Bulls.
Yeah. Not much. It would
okay, so let's check this out because I like this. All right, let's take out Levine.
$20 million. So you got.
You don't have to give Pods up in this. Take out Pods.
It's basically these two guys, Peyton and Melton.
I'd do it. Would you, Lou? Would you give up? Basically, you're giving up Peyton for Vucevic. Because I'm not giving up Looney. Would you? Who would you rather give up in this, or would you even do the deal, Lou?
I didn't say. I can't see it. It's too low.
Show them the deal. So it's Melton and Peyton, but Melton's on a 1-year deal and he's not playing.
Well, yeah, because all you're doing, you got Melton's going to be gone, and you got Peyton only.
And he's going to be gone too, probably, because
and that's going to require number 1, don't you think?
No, they're only asking for second-round picks, depending on the package.
Get that thing done.
Yeah, they want to get off his salary because he has 2 years. I don't know if you see that. He has 1 more year after this for 20 mil, and the Bulls are trying to clear off everyone's salary. So they're doing a fire sale, basically. So except for their young guys like Kobe White and those types of characters. But I think, this gets it done because this is what they want. This clears the salary for them. This is 2, and that's why I had you put in Melton and Peyton. This makes it so next year
they don't have them.
Yeah, they're gone. They just lost their $20 million.
Take a picture of that, so I have that one ready for the.
And you're gonna have to in this deal. You're gonna have to throw like
2
3 or 4. No, 3 or 4.
That's fine. Seconds, go for it. You can always buy them
because they're taking a dead player. Is why you'd have to give a lot of picks.
Yeah.
Second is because they're taking Melton, who literally can't play, so he has no value.
What do you think of Kobe White's game?
I think he's great, but they're not going to trade him.
Too young.
Really?
I love Kobe White. Yeah, I think he's a baller.
I do too.
I don't think there's any chance they move him though.
All right, let's do this.
If they did move Kobe White, you'd have to give up some picks. I mean, if you want to get Kobe White for, Pods, Peyton, and a first-round pick, you could. But I don't know if I want Kobe White for a first-round pick.
Remember, Dunleavy's never done this.
Another guy I kind of like. I like Torrey Craig.
No, he's fine. I would, you could swap him for. You could get him and Duarte for him, Duarte, and or
Duarte,
you could go Josh Giddey and Torrey Craig for Melton. I think that would work. Try that.
It does work.
You'd have to throw him a pick for that, and I'd be down to bring Giddey into the fold because Giddey could ball handle better than Pods. I'd give him Pods in that deal. Don't even give him a pick. Give him Pods. Give him Pods.
All right, let me find this start over. Where's my start over button? Wait, I first got to try this trade. Now I'm going to adjust the trade. Okay, so we're gonna give him. Wait, we got
Well, let's just
taking out.
Let's do an overhaul. Keep Vucevic in this. Add Pods and then add Giddey
And Duarte?
No, who you wanted? You wanted Craig. You said
Craig would be the most feasible.
Add Craig. Like go up.
31,000. We need 6 million. 31 million.
So
we need
go
6
down.
million. 6 million.
Yeah, this one doesn't work. So too many players. What about take off the Bulls dude? The Torrey Craig guy. Take him off. Or I mean not Torrey Craig. Take off Chris Duarte. All right. And then
why did that still say 31 million?
it didn't update before. So take off Torrey Craig. Bam! Now we can make this happen. All right, and then throw them like a Guy Santos. And
well, we are 3 million. We need to do more than 3 million, so we need to send them Waters. And
Santos. Send them Waters and Santos. This is a consolidation trade, basically.
Yeah.
So
this will work.
This will work, and this you know what? I actually really like this trade too because this gives you the ball handler you thought Pajemski was, and then you get the big that you need. And it's funny though. It says, is it saying we're gonna? No, it says it says we would gain 4 wins from this trade.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Make it and give them a. What would you give them? I have to give a 1 and a couple.
No, because Josh is only on a 1-year deal, and Vucevic they're trying to dump some 2s because the one in this deal is basically Pods. Pods is the one.
He's a bomb.
No, and I agree, but you got to keep in mind Josh Giddey's on a 1-year deal, so he doesn't have much value.
Yeah.
All right, there's another trade. Got to take a picture of that one too. So
I like this one a lot actually because like I said, it gets you that ball handler that you.
There's the trade, everybody.
And then gets you that
Golden
big.
State Warriors, as put together by NorCal Sports Network crew, have made a deal. The Golden State Warriors have acquired Vucevic and Josh Giddey, because I don't know Vucevic how to say his first name, so we just call him Vucevic. What's his first name? Is it Nikola?
It's Nikola.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought it was Nikola. Okay. So Nikola Vucevic and Josh Giddey for DeAnthony Melton, Gary Payton II, Brandon Podzinski, Lindy Waters III. We've got Payton II and GP2 and L Waters 3 and Guy Santos 4. 4.
Yeah, and I think this is good because it takes 3 people out of your rotation.
We're messing up. We're messing Robert
Payton.
Boyd's Chicago Bulls team. He says that's not enough. What do you want, Curry in the deal, Robert? You want us to throw you Curry?
Robert, Giddey's on a 1-year deal, man. He doesn't. I don't know what you're expecting for him, but
Josh Giddey's moving on. The Bulls are going nowhere this year. They're basically getting in this deal. They get Pods. And they get some number 2s. They get like 3 2s, and they get rid of the salary of Vucevic. Yep. So it's
next year they'd clear $20 million because they're gonna Payton and Melton would clear their books. Oh no, more actually. They'd clear $24 million because Lindy would also clear their books.
Right. Guy Santos, he can.
No, it would be Guy and Pods. They would be $5 million compared to them being with 20 next. So they're going to save a good amount of salary. And Mark, if Chicago's really really building, they'd want picks or young players. Pods is in his 2nd year, and again, Josh Giddey and Nikola Vucevic don't have that much value in the league. I know we're all down on pods right now, but I actually think this is a very fair trade.
Yeah, and keep in mind, take a look at where the Chicago Bulls sit in the standings. They are 9-13. They are going nowhere, even in the crappy Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and they didn't re-sign Caruso. I mean, or did they trade Caruso? I forget.
They play no defense.
They didn't they either traded Caruso or they didn't re-sign. No, they traded Caruso. That's how they got Giddey.
Yeah.
And they didn't re-sign Debo. I like calling him Debo, even though it's his not the Debo from the Niners. But so the Bulls are looking to get as much value as possible. And I think if the Warriors can entice them with the right package, I think they'll be able to really get anyone off their team except Kobe White. Seems like they're a guy that they don't want to move.
Yeah, and Jake, regarding Marty Lurie, we'll get Marty on. We're working on getting him on. Probably won't be this week, but maybe one day next week we'll figure out a time. It's up to Marty's schedule. He's kind of limiting his schedule right now. So, and then, kind of want to wait and see what happens with baseball. As soon as some things start happening, especially if the Giants do anything, we'll do something with Marty.
Yeah, and I think, to end up this trade discussion, everyone in the chat, Warriors fans, I wouldn't worry about it too much. This isn't the Niners and this isn't the Giants where these the front offices seem to be a little bit lackadaisical, I would say at times, and a little bit delusional about their rosters and where they're at. The Warriors and Joe Lacob are a very, I would say, sometimes cocky, but they are definitely a very realistic organization. And they're going to recognize, okay, we're in all these close games. We have a player who's not – why am I on here alone? We have a player who's not, playing at all, the $12 million salary slot. They're not going to pull a Farhan or a John Lynch where they just hold the salary. It's not going to happen. The Warriors are too competitive. Joe Lacob cares too little about losing, money in terms of the dollars. It's all about for him winning and being competitive, and not even for Curry. That's how Joe Lacob is. And he's talked about it. He's all about winning for himself. And Curry's another incentivization too, because he wants to win. So I think there's no chance this team doesn't make, and that's the only reason I'm high still, even after this losing streak, is I just don't think there's any chance the Warriors don't make some type of change.
Yeah, I totally agree. Why don't we get out of here?
What do you think, Lou, about do you think they're going to make a move, or what do you kind of foresee them doing? And then we'll get out of here.
Lou?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I just said, do you foresee them? Dan said he agreed. Do you foresee them making
Yeah,
any moves,
I'm just a little bit worried about Dunleavy Jr. He's never been in this position. And it's tough because I think maybe one of the worst things that's happened to the Warriors, they started off so good that now the pressure is going to start building. And the only reason why I say that is they had that beat writer on KNBR today. I'm not even sure if it's still called KNBR. And,
I think it's called I heard it's no longer KNBR, but it's KNB Done.
Oh, is it? Yeah, of course. So, I'm just a little bit worried. Dunleavy the first time, them starting off great. Now the pressure's starting to build. As Dan was saying, a lot of these guys you can't trade until certain dates. Until Dunleavy proves me wrong, I'm just worried about him. We had one of the best GMs of all who was a former agent. Now we have a guy who was a player who was actually only an assistant for 2 years. And really he got the job because there was nobody else. It's sort of like the Giants where they put Buster because there was nobody else. So, hopefully I'm wrong. Hey, we, beside the Sharks who again won tonight, go Sharks.
Oh, 2-1. What a game. Did you see it, Lou?
I wrote Ned. Ned wrote me back.
I wrote Ned too.
I said
he wrote
right now. Biggest win
and
of
he
the
wrote
year.
me back. We'll have to share text in the green room.
So, but the thing about the Warriors right now is, it's frustrating. You know what I mean? This team is good. They're probably better than they should be. But when you have 4 games where, you can't close, it's tough because you got to remember one thing. There are other teams in our situation in the West that are also thinking the same thing. So we're talking about players that maybe they might Warriors. They might see what the Warriors are giving up, saying, no, I'd rather, like Sacramento right now, who thought they were going to win the divisions, having problems. I mean, it's just, you guys got to remember that we're not the only team looking for players.
100%, Lou, but I was someone from, and we'll get out of here after this quick comment. Someone on ESPN who you guys probably know, I don't know, I said someone. You guys know Brian Windhorst. He made a good comment, and he is not a Warriors homer. He's like definitely a LeBron and Laker homer. But anyways, he made a comment which I totally didn't think of, but then I was looking through the salaries, and he's right. Is the Warriors actually, because of they were able to move off that big $40 million Klay Thompson from last, they were able to get a lot of role players, whereas a lot of other teams have these big contracts. And as you just were saying, Lou, it's really hard to move these big contracts.
No, I agree.
It has to be exactly right. So what kind of benefits the Warriors is, even though you're right, a lot of these other teams are going to want to make trades, the Warriors don't have to get in these 3-team trades. They can do these, as we were showing, they can get creative and they don't need to get other teams to play ball, where that I feel like will kind of give them an incentivization. And the lucky part for the Warriors is there's a lot of teams in the East this year that are just so far behind that they're ready. I think even like there's so many different guys we'd be interested in. I think I agree with you, though. I think a lot of the guys we're talking about, other teams are going to get. But I do think there's got to be a shot for us to get one, because there's just so many crappy teams in the East. The East is a joke. It's ridiculous.
I would like them to do something. Do not wait until the trade deadline. Get them ASAP so you can have them 55 games. So this way, they're flowing. That's like, as we know, Farhan so many times, everybody knew what he wanted, but he would wait till the very, very last second. Hopefully the Warriors can do it early, be first, get a player so the team can adapt to them. And then once you're in the playoffs, they actually have the team that can take another step.
Yeah, and you're right. So I think you mentioned earlier what you said, and you're totally right about it. There's also like you're adding new people on. They got to like learn to play together and stuff. So we want to, the sooner we can. I would like the Warriors to trade DeAnthony Melton the day he's available to be traded. I'm hoping they're already, talking with teams saying, hey, you guys ready to make this move on the 15th? Or it's the 15th, right, Dan?
Yes.
15th. Yeah, so that's my hope. And, I think until then, the team's kind of going to be sputtering. And hopefully we can just kind of go 500 here until we can make a move.
Boy, it's going to be tough.
Let me ask you guys, do you guys do this trade?
Oh my God, you're trading the whole team now.
You have to.
So see if we can get another $2 million player from that's more. We're giving up 36 in that. Do the Heat have
it's got to be 1.2. It's got to be under 1.2. I don't know.
What do they have? Who do they have? Who do the Heat got? They got somebody. Check it out.
Let me adjust.
But I like what you're thinking.
What do they got? Who do they got in there? Oh yeah, there you go. Give us that Larson character.
4 years.
Guy's a
it's
stud.
$1 million a year though. It's light.
Hella. He's a Swedish guy. What played for Arizona?
Oh right, wow.
So you're.
Is this going to work, or I don't know if this might not work. It might not work. Oh, it does. There you go.
Larson's going to be good. 4-year starter at U of A. Played for the Swedish team.
You'd have to add someone else because you're losing too many players. You just need someone to eat minutes. But look, his PER is higher than Pod's right now.
Right.
Lou. He's got more value this year than Pod's.
Okay, so you're losing Melton, which is a wash because he's not playing. So Santos doesn't play. Waters doesn't.
You're not losing Looney because Bam's a way better Looney.
Right. So Waters, you're really losing 3 players that are in your your role.
It won't be replaced from your rotation because Melton's not in it. Looney's spot's being taken by Bam, but you're not going to have. But I disagree. I think Larson. I don't know if you've seen him play. I think he's like on that Lindy Waters level. I think he takes Lindy's spot. So you're really losing two people from the road. You're losing Kuminga and Pods.
You're losing Kuminga and Pods, and then you can bring up Beeks or whatever.
I'm cool with losing Looney. I'm honestly, for me, you're losing 3 players in this trade because, like I said, you're getting 2 back. One's not even playing. I'm cool with it because I think Bam is as good as Kuminga, Looney, and Pods combined. I really do. I think that's how good Bam would be.
Bam would be the missing. He'd be the missing piece because he fits the Warriors perfectly. Whereas if you bring in Giannis is a guy that's going to dominate the ball, and it could throw the entire offense, the motion offense, off. I think.
Yeah.
Giannis is a great player. I just don't know if he fits. You'd have to change the offense. You'd have to really
6 out of 7. They're not trading him anymore.
The Bucks, yeah.
Yeah.
How are you going to fill the roster, Dan, by G League players? Brilliant.
Well, you don't need to because a lot of these guys aren't even playing. Jake,
Santos.
2 of the guys.
When's the last time Santos played? And you've got two-way players you could promote. You could promote. I'll show you what you could do.
Post and Reese Beekman and they would take the spot of. They would take the spots of Lindy and Looney and Bam.
Right. Then you can go out and sign a couple of other two-way players. You're not affecting the roster that much at all. You're losing, like you said, Looney, Kuminga, and Pods who plays. And do we really want to see Pods play that much?
No, and Bam's going to play 38 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes a night. You got to think about it. I mean, you're really only losing about 10 to 15 minutes if you actually think about it because of, if you're thinking about it from a minute distribution point, you know what I mean? And those minutes would just go to this, to Larson. Like I said, he's just as good as Lindy Waters.
Yeah, and the Heat, they would probably just waive a couple guys in the trade, or because guys that are on the end of their bench, because they'd have too many guys. They'd have
100%. They would
waive Melton.
I don't know how the injured thing works, but they would definitely waive Guy Santos, or they would move him in a 3-way. They would get rid of some of these players in a different trade. They would probably, if the Heat were doing this, they would be looking for a full rebuild. So whichever one of these young guys they don't like, whether that's Kuminga or Pods, they then probably look to move one of them. You know what I mean, for picks.
Yeah, they'll take Pods and trade him for some green beans or something.
No,
how many ones would you have to give up in this deal?
2, probably one.
2, 1 or 2, because you're getting Kuminga and Pods who are already number ones.
You might have to give 2.
I think you'd have to give up 2 number ones.
They're going to start at 4, but I think he'd probably end up at 2.
Yeah.
Because the problem with Bam is, he's also actually not really making that much comparatively to other guys as like you got Rudy Gobert making $47 million, so Bam's kind of actually at a discount. So that stuff taken into account with these general managers where they're like, you're getting this guy on a good deal. You need to, give us a little extra.
Right. You might have to give up 3 1s and a 2.
3
Yeah, I would give up 2. I wouldn't give up 3. I would do 2 because the 2 I would do are the next 2. I would do next year, this pick coming up because we already know probably not even going to be a lottery pick. I do that one and I do the next one because I think next year you'd be good too. The problem is the Heat would want the last one. So what I would do to compromise is I'd say you can have this next year's pick and you can also, which we won't protect, but like they know we're going to be good. And you can have a top 5 protected pick from, the 2030 draft or I forget it's 2029 or 2030. And then that's what I would do. I wouldn't go 3 and I wouldn't give them like an unprotected pick from 2030. We might end up having like a top 5 pick in 2030, to be honest.
Right. You're going to have to do some stuff there. That could work. Plus, You have to look at the fact that Pat Riley would probably love to have. Bless you. That's I mute my mic, Lou, when I sneeze.
It came up on hit me.
You'd have to sell the Bulls on Kuminga to not basically take all your picks. And if they wanted all your picks, then, the deal wouldn't happen. And I don't even think this is necessarily going to happen, but I definitely think the other trades we pulled up are pretty likely.
Yeah.
Definitely
possible. This is one that was more or less, let's go for something big. And
this is a good one to talk about for sure.
The thing about Kuminga with Miami, they could build around him. He's the type of player that Pat Riley would love to have that could be the alpha. I bet you Riley could do something with him if he let him loose. But under the discipline of Eric Spoelstra, you might get it. I could see Kuminga becoming like, an all-star in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, if he would be an all-star for sure, yeah.
Yeah. And and you got to realize,
I just think Bam's a much better player. I'd do this deal just as long as they don't want all your picks. I would do this deal. And I think that's the problem. And I think that's probably why the Heat wouldn't do it. Is if I'd do it, that why would the Heat do it?
Well, you'd have to sell them on Kuminga and Pods to an extent, and then you'd have to sell them on the two number ones, and you might have to do maybe you can do a pick swap with them as a third number one pick.
Yeah, sell them on a pick swap. No, I think actually you're right about the swap, and the Warriors' thinking would be Kuminga's not going to be as good as they think, right. And Bam's going to keep us above water.
Kuminga is, what is he, 22, 23 years old?
Right.
Something like that, Jake. All right, let's get out of here. Let's try something new here tonight. I want to see what this – hey, guys, thanks again for watching NorCal Sports Network. If you are watching over on X, which we know many of you are, come on over to YouTube after the show and please hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you. You can continue watching over on X. That's fine. Just subscribe to the channel because it does help the channel grow and it puts it out there to more people. We appreciate that. Give a little shout out to Yogurt Shack. If you're in the Danville area or in Lafayette, go in and see Yogurt Shack. Yogurt Shack, you can fill up your cup of yogurt. There's some gift certificates right here, $5 worth. If you want to join and become a member of NorCal Sports, we'll send you 2 of those for $10. You can go out and try the yogurt, and then you'll probably be hooked. Okay? So
you can use it after a tough out like tonight.
Absolutely. I want to try some different music. What is this one? I don't even know what this is. This might not be music. It says Deep Horrors. So
yeah, and just last thing before we get out of here, for all the Sac fans, you guys are. I just checked because I had a feeling. I was like, wait, why is everyone like shitting on the Warriors, saying Sac's better? Sac is 10-12 for all the Sac fans in here. So yeah, let me know when you guys actually pass the Warriors because right now it seems like a lot of talk.
Yeah, they've lost 8 out of 9.
Ooh, let's see that. What is this?
The beam ran out of batteries.
Yeah.
Not good.
I'm not hearing any Deep Horrors. Are you guys? Oh, there it is. I don't know what these sounds are. I know Eric put a lot of these in here. And I'm
that's funny. So the Kings have the opposite record of the Warriors. They're 8-12. Warriors are 12-8.
Yeah, 12-10, 12-10 or something.
What's this one? Yeah. Pride Before the Fall. Ah, that's not bad. What about this one? That's an opening.
That's our opening.
Should we change that to our opening?
That is our opening.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to hear about
it is on that other thing, huh? Yeah.
We're going to have to get a new one when Purdy's not with us anymore about the hat.
All right, let's get out of here. Hey, guys. Thanks for joining NorCal Sports Network. We'll be back tomorrow night, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific. We'll have a little Giants talk subject for you. I've got a little thing I want to talk to you about, how to fix this ball club going forward. And check out our videos that come out. Please like those, comment on those. I know we get a lot
time
of
out. MF with some breaking news. Is this accurate?
Hold on. Let me.
Is Gabe Kapler also going to the Dodgers? Is this real?
I don't know about that. You got to be careful with MF. Let me look.
I heard Gabe Kapler like signed like a week ago. They were talking about. Who cares about Farhan?
I don't see anything about that, Gabe. I mean, not Gabe. And MF, stop with the fake news. I have heard about the Farhan stuff, though. Oh, we already ended the stream.
Farhan. Oh, no, we haven't ended it yet. We're still going.
Oh, no, we did.
I was going for the music. Hold on. Let me go back to the music. Here it is.
No worries, MF. The Farhan rumor was definitely true, MF. I actually looked into that earlier, and we will be touching on that tomorrow.
Yeah, that one is real. Guys, thanks for joining.
Farhan may be joining the Dodgers. He, as we discussed, was always an undercover Dodger.
Yes. So, yeah, Farhan, the Dodger. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Make sure you turn on your notifications bell, and we will have that. You'll be notified when we go live. Plus, if you turn on the notifications bell, you'll actually get notified when I put out a video. We're putting out 2 videos minimum a day, and soon to be 3 videos. So, guys, check out the videos. They're actually pretty informative, and you know what? When you comment on those videos, we actually can get back to you much easier. I have more time. I'm not focused on doing a live. I can actually comment while I'm sitting around watching a Warriors game or something, watching the Warriors choke. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday and enjoy your day. Stay safe. Do we have any little things like, Ralph Barbieri used to say, angels fly because they take themselves lightly, right? Wasn't that the thing?
Yeah, because they take themselves lightly.
Because they take themselves lightly. Do we have anything that we can come up with? I guess not tonight. We'll work on it.
Don't believe in anything but yourself.
There we go. All right, guys. Take care. Oops, I got to, wait. I got to put up my little screen there. Maybe Ryan can hit it. At the same time I do it. Where is it? Our thank you. Here it is. I got it. There it is. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.